Hey friends! Okay, so the purpose of this video is to show you guys how to import your images into Lightroom from start to finish and why it's important to have them saved in specific locations. So I'm going to plug in my SD card into my computer and I've actually already done this exercise, so this is just for your guys' purposes. I'm going to hit cancel. I don't want to import them into whatever Mac wants me to import them into. But I last night shot some images for musical theater, and when I click on my SD card, all I'm going to do is quickly copy all of these images over into into a folder. And for me, I'm going to use an external hard drive folder. Now, just to be very clear, it's really important that you save your images to multiple locations. So I like to save them to 2 external hard drives, and if I have space on my computer, I'll put them onto my computer, or I'll save them into my Amazon folders. So again, this is just a so you don't get burned thing, because if your computer crashed and that's the only place you had your images, you are donezo in trouble-o. So in this scenario, I've actually already created a folder and I've already saved the images. So the folder I created was called Stephanie Wizard of Oz because the play that they're doing is called Wizard of Oz. So I've already copied and pasted all of my images in from that location. Okay, so now I can go in and I'm just going to eject my SD card because I don't need to see that anymore. My images are already saved. Okay, and now we're going to open up Lightroom, and hopefully I'm not going too fast here, so I'll try to slow down. We're going to go right into Lightroom, and we're going to because I have a lot of images already, catalogs already built out, it's trying to figure out what catalog I want to open. So I just have it open a default catalog when it gets confused. But what we're going to do is we're going to create a catalog for that specific event. So anytime you're doing photography, it's really important to try to keep each and every single event in its own folder. That way, when you go to create a Lightroom catalog, you're creating that catalog for that specific event. So let me give you an example. We're going to create a catalog, and we're going to click on File. We're going to hit New Catalog, and it's going to ask you, where do you want to save this? Okay, so I want to save this under the Stephanie Wizard of Oz. I cannot create another folder called Stephanie Wizard of Oz. You have to name it something different. So I'm going to name this one just Wizard of Oz. Okay, and I'm going to hit Create. And so now it's creating a specific folder for this specific event. This, you guys, will be game-changing when you are able to get yourself better organized per event and edit per event. When I first started, I actually would just dump everything into one catalog. I knew nothing about understanding how the catalogs worked, and I had like 2,000 pictures in one catalog, and it was from like 6 different events. So it was kind of crazy, unorganized, and it just created a lot of chaos for me. So when you're going to import your image, you need to make sure that you're under the library mode, or you should be. There's another way you can still do it under develop, but it's just more steps. And you're going to actually click on import. Okay. And so now this is asking you, where do you want to pick these images up from? So I could tell it, I want to go here into my applications, but I already know that that particular folder is saved on my external hard drive, and I have it named. Remember, we named it Stephanie Wizard of Oz. So I'm going to have it pull from there. And so now it's got all the images clicked. Okay. Now, before I just go and click import, there's a couple of things that I want you guys to be aware of. I don't really mess in this area too much. I just let it use whatever is auto-selected. But this is where I play a lot in, okay? And that's under the develop settings. So if you're like myself, I use presets. And a lot of times when I'm shooting something, I already have it in my mind how I want to edit these images. So I use Mastin quite a bit. I have others that I have on here as well. But for this one, I want to edit these with the Mastin Fuji 400 neutral. So I'm going to apply the preset. Now, the reason why I do this before I import my images is because it allows me to apply the preset to every single image versus me going in and clicking Fuji 400 for each and every single image. It just puts it all on there, and then if I want to change it later on, I can. So I've got this selected. If this was a wedding or family setting, I've already got my um, metadata tags already done. So for this, I just click done because it's something I don't normally do. It's a musical theater, and I don't normally work in that. But under my keywords, I might put musical theater. Okay, so now every single image is going to have this tag on it, musical theater. So if I were to do a search in my catalogs, it's going to pull up these images as musical theater images. So that's kind of cool. And then I'm going to click import. Okay, so you can see it's kind of thinking here. It's got the bar, and now it's saying, yep, I got all the images in here that I want. Perfect. Okay, so now that it's got all my images, I can see here that it's got this preset applied to it already, okay? And it's imported 279 images. It's showing me exactly where the images were pulling from, which was that external hard drive under Stephanie Wizard of Oz. And now I can go in here and edit. So, but let me show you the powerful thing about these catalogs. And there's a couple of things I want to make you guys really aware of. One, the first thing, this is what you're editing on is actually like a preview of the actual image that's inside of your folder. So in this case, Stephanie Wizard of Oz folder. If I were to unplug my external hard drive, then the preview dissipates. It doesn't look right. It actually can't find the image any longer, and it will not let you edit the image. So it's really important that you understand that if you delete pictures out of your folder and you still have it shown up as a preview in Lightroom, it's no longer editable. So that's why you want to save your images to a folder and not leave it on your SD card when you try to edit your image, because like myself, I need my SD cards to do my pictures, to photograph. So I move it over into a folder, and anytime I edit Stephanie Wizard of Oz images, I have to have my external hard drive plugged in, because then Lightroom Preview is able to locate the image on that external hard drive, and it lets you edit the image. So I hope that makes sense. You're not actually editing the live image from the folder, you're editing a preview of it. And then when you go to export it, you're exporting a new image. So hopefully that makes sense. So this is catalog for Wizard of Oz. This is the powerful thing about Lightroom. So let's say I'm editing these images. Oh, I like them. Yeah, okay, now it's time for me to I'm getting bored. I want to work on something different for now. So then let's say I want to flip over to a wedding. So then I'm going to go to File, Open Catalog, and let's say I want to start working on this wedding now. Okay, so now I'm able to go into here to this folder, and I have my Lightroom catalog. So I can just double click on that and relaunch it. So now I'm able to work on a different workflow. I can now work on Lucia and Dietrich's wedding. So let's say I edit a couple of these images and I'm kind of okay, now I'm ready to work on something different again. So now I can go back, it's kind of cool, and I can go into Open Recent or just Open in general, and I can go in here and open back my Wizard of Oz folder. It's going to ask me to relaunch. It might ask me to back it up. Okay, and now I'm back into editing my Wizard of Oz folder. So hopefully that helps somebody today. I know that importing images can seem pretty confusing, but one, you want to import all of your images into Lightroom and edit them. It's just a wonderful tool. Two, you want to keep your images coordinated or organized by event if you can, because it just makes the editing process so much easier. So hopefully that helps somebody.